Okay, maybe hate is a little bit harsh, but certainly Creative Assembly hasn't shown these factions the love and won't be showing them any love as far as we know anytime soon. I mean, the Wood Elves had a DLC late in Warhammer 2, so at least they got that. Norsca gets nothing, but a lot of people would say these are some of the worst factions in multiplayer. I don't know. Norsca's probably lower mid-tier. Wood Elves, high skill ceiling and high skill floor as well, which means you have to be good to play them. And even if you are, you kind of get like mid-tier results. So yeah, today we're going to see this battle from its current year between these two unloved factions, and wow, it'll be quite the scrap. We've got the monstrous infantry Chad Lords leading the way, so Orion versus Throg, love to see that. Looks like a branch buddy on foot here with, I would imagine, Penumbral Pendulum and, oh no, Melkos and Earthblood. Some War Dancers, Blade Singers through the centers, Azrite, Spear Dancers out on the flanks, so fairly elite infantry line here, ready to duke it out with Norsca. Yeah, Sisters of Thorn and Hagbane Tip Blade Riders out on the flanks here, doing some skirmishing of the Beasts of Tashnar and some Skin Wolves. We've also got Marauder Horsemen as well, so lots of light, fast attack units for Norsca. Makes a lot of sense here. Norscan Ice Wolves and some more Armored Skin Wolves in the back. There you go. So, let's get things rolling. Yeah, Norsca, obviously, just needs a DLC. Needs more units, needs more lords, needs more selection of stuff. What they have isn't bad. It's just very out of date, and they don't have very much, so especially in the character department. Wood Elves has quite a bit. It's just a lot of it isn't very good, so one thing I would like to see just quickly up front as these front lines clash is buffs to the AoE damage abilities for like Orion and Durthu, like Lamentation of Despair, Hounds of Orion, this Hawk's Talon. Basically, you can calculate pretty easily how much value these get. Maybe I'll do a testing video at a later date, just show that they are absolutely not worth taking for the most part. Like, even against mid-tier targets, if you get a good bombardment or whatever, generally they fail to pay for themselves pretty consistently, but Beasts of Tashnar get kited out into oblivion there and shut down by the Wood Elves very nicely. How much time will that cost them, though? Hard to say. The Blade Singers also just clobber the center for the most part, but some dancers do get caught out by superior numbers and destroyed here. This, like, double envelopment as well. Ice Wolves actually have pretty good weapon strength. They do get the Curse of Honor there, significantly debuffing them, so they won't be doing much in terms of their melee stats, but 48 weapon strength means they can hit those low armor elf targets pretty hard. But that Curse of Honor was pretty good. Shadow's Coil also active for the War Dancers, debuffing their melee attack, making them very tanky in terms of their melee defense. They can try and hold out against all this. Just kind of hold for the time being. Oof, really nasty Burning Head too. Once again, the bane of Wood Elves, those kind of lower mid-tier AoE magic effects. Burning Head certainly being one of them. Throg, though, has taken massive damage, currently getting javelined by the Sisters of Thorn, trying to regenerate some HP, but also hanging back. Yeah, the light Wood Elves there taking massive shock damage from charges and from magic. And it leads to a lot of their units kind of getting destroyed in isolation. Of course, Orion's still on the field, and plenty of War Dancers as well. Spear Dancers in particular are going to cleave these hounds apart, no problem. Spit them up nicely for roasting later. I don't know. Do you roast wolf? Is that taboo still? I don't know. Been playing too much Fallout, I guess. But Orion getting bogged down by the Skin Wolves is very good. Okay, let's see if we can kind of judge here if his unit card will stay. I don't think I got to it in time. Yeah, maybe. That was maybe like 100 value there, 100 value on the first cast. That basically pays for it, I guess. But in a faction where cost optimization and bringing as many unit models as possible is super important, can be often important. Yeah, the Hawk's Talon's just not the best value use, I think. I don't know. The Hawk's Talon is even one of the better ones. Like, Lamentation of Despair is truly awful, as is the Hounds of Orion, so buffs to those would definitely help. Restoring Orion's, like, fire while moving. I don't know if this is this actually moving these days. I think, didn't he have like 80, 90 speed as well in late Warhammer 3 so that he could actually keep up with Wild Riders, I want to say? Maybe I'm hallucinating that. A little bit of Mandela effect going on, possibly. But Orion, of course, very tanky, will hold out in a situation like this, even surrounded by anti-large enemies fairly well. Let's keep the health bars up so we can see here. Sisters of Thorn going to be doing a little bit of kiting. They contribute some javelins to that fight with Orion. Orion struggling to get away because of the frostbite, but Throg also wants to get away to the poison and other things so he can regenerate some HP. Of course, Orion will also be regenerating HP. Looks like Branch Buddy's coming back over, getting chased over by some skin wolves. Don't think he'll come back to the fight, but yeah, these Wood Elf cavalry need to skedaddle on over, get close to where they can support remaining troops, or Orion could also just peel, try and get close to them, which would probably be the better course of action, to be honest, but he's holding out fine right now. A little bit of Cascading Fire Cloak on those Armored Skin Wolves, not quite going to be enough to burst through Cloak of Isha yet, so now the Branch Wraith being around, though, still has that all of the woods active, going to momentarily be buffing Orion's melee attack. I don't know, he might actually get that Branch Wraith back now that there's nothing really to chase it. Those Skin Wolves getting terrified away, all the Elf Cavalry coming to help Orion, but getting countercharged brutally. Ooh, look at that health bar just evaporate by those Skin Wolves in a nice, big, anti-large, scary blob. Yeah, all the Skin Wolves all the way around. Still very scary. I don't know, Firebark Elders, Tree Kin in general are still just fairly awful, but another unit that could potentially be buffed. Tree Kin and Tree Men just to kind of buff their melee prowess a little bit. Not too much. You don't want Wood Elves to be like an insane melee faction, but you do need their melee tools to at least be viable. Right now, in many cases, they just aren't. Anyone remember when Tree Kin had like infantry weapon strength, like in the 30s? That was certainly a time. But anyway, they could do with a little bit of an armor piercing buff, maybe. And Treekin, all Treekin, or Tree Men rather, from the regular Tree Men, Ancient, and Earthu, all could use with a weapon strength increase, since they are slow, two-legged infantry monsters, essentially similar to the vein of Giants. Giants have gotten a lot of buffs over time. Tree Men have gotten absolutely nothing. Yeah, they definitely could do with a weapon strength increase. Not maybe as high as Giants, but even up to something like 600, 650. You know, to be on that tier of sort of big, hard-hitting, heavy monsters. I don't know, maybe Earthu could get like 650. Regular ones could get like 550, 600, something like that. I don't know, maybe that's too high. Or you just reduce the cost. Got a lot else going for them over the Giant, of course, but I do think weapon strength increase, considering the change from like regular unit-sized ultra HP pools, would be one of the best changes they could do, and honestly needs to be applied to quite a few different monsters in the game. But look at this, Orion almost finishing off Throg. Throg gets a clutch Cascading Fire Cloak right at the last minute here, and does then rout, which means he's going to survive critically, while Orion gets killed by the Circle Beat of the Skin Wolves, and that will certainly be army losses. No, the Sisters of Thorn still think they have a chance to win here, perhaps. I don't know if they were to rout Throg and chase him off. There's just so many armored Skin Wolves here. I don't know, a lot of Sisters of Thorn, perhaps. A late game collapse in a big surround, but no, one of the units gets caught up on this Ice Wolf out in the distance, while this last unit charges in solo to their absolute doom. There you go. Beautiful, glorious end for the Sisters of Thorn here in the Fields of Chaos. Quite the battle. Big thanks to Its Current Year for sending that one in. And nice to see a glorious victory for Norsca. Fun matchup for sure. Both these factions are very mobile, very dynamic. Definitely do some wild things and require some decent micro. Again, fast and hard hitting. Sometimes means fast games, but not always. In the case of the Wood Elves, when they're trying to kite things out and drag the game out. But yeah, Orion does very good, all things considered. The rest of the army, some of the War Dancers do quite well. The Spear Dancers in particular, decent yet here. And I might actually just take all Spear Dancers and then try and rely on other sources for anti-infantry. It's not like infantry here are particularly scary. Yeah, the Blade Singers are a little bit of an odd pick for me. Maybe he was scared of champs, but you can do other things to get rid of champs. Mobile forces for the Wood Elves did a great job of skirmishing. Great performance from the Sisters of Thorn. Overall, Hagbane tips also, that magic damage and poison, both super important for getting through the physical resistance. of Skinwolves and other Norscan units as they get enraged up. On Norsca's side, said Skinwolves and Ice Wolves. Ice Wolves, one of them pays for themselves, the other ones are decent. The Skinwolves overall, very cost-effective and basically carry the game here. Throg also, despite getting horribly beat up multiple times, yeah, he gets 2,000 value himself, which is nice to see. So fun game all around. Big thanks for that one. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button. Every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.